On April the 14th, 2015, New Jersey train number 2305 left out of Pinewood to New York City. It called a JT train, but they're going to change it on the next year. This train had 204 passengers on the crowded train, and one crew on board. The train has down the tracks at 110 miles per hour. But after the train noticed the train was going fast it's going, but like this video, subscribe for more crashes. But notice it was a red signal and passes it. The train slows down after it passes the red signal and stops. People think the train crashed, but the train stopped and telling the passengers it's okay, we just stopped because of red signal. And they got back to moving. But they noticed this disaster gonna be crazier. The train heads down the track towards Orden Station, passes the freight train that goes the other way to the cargo. The train was expressed through the city. It was about to stop at Red Green Station to pick up passengers and drop off passengers. Now you notice it was arresting all again because they were stopping. Hey, there's the Long Island Railroad. Oh, that's the Harlem. That's the Harlem Island. No, I can't even see it. The train slows down into the station. The train don't want to pass the station. The train sees the steam engine stop. Are they going to crash or something? The train stops. The train was leaving right now before the steam engine train leaves. But the steam engine started moving in the first. So the train hurries up out of the station. It goes towards the 3 tracks where the steam, so the train get to make the steam engine still going. But the train wasn't a good idea. The train was about to crash and the disaster was about to happen, and then express train just crashed before leaving Pinewood Station all the way to the 3 tracks and smashes off the rails. It was a little too late for the train to slam the emergency brakes and stop the train. 3 cars came off the rails in the moment of impact, and the engine smacked the 5th car. It was into the 4th car almost. The passenger started screaming for help as the 2nd car smashes through into the 3rd car. in half. Almost looked like a half pizza. For real. The two engines on board the train. No, the conductors of the train was very paralyzed and dead. The train exploded on fire, and the train has an alarm, and it was very loud, and they started hearing it away from the other station. There were a lot of delays on the route after that disaster. On the new year of January the 1st, on January the 1st, 2022, a new train was started running now through Pinewood all the way to New Year Resolution Station, where there's a celebration of new trains lining up, and there's a lot of them coming there until they're gonna be closed at 1 a.m. before night shift is over. As train number 2444 left out of Pinewood Yard to Cargo, but they were not going to Cargo because there's a new year celebration resolution at the station, so they're going there, so they don't want to miss it, all the trains before night time. The train was very heavy, and it started slowing in the crossing at 90 miles per hour. Now it was picking up speed. It was another train behind the other train. Holy moly! Ow! Damn! Oh! And all of a sudden, the train started slowing down, making the train slows down and stops. Moments later, another freight train crashes into BA train number 2488. Slows down and was very delayed. And the conductor kicks out. He was very mad. And how did that just happen that fast? I was just driving the freaking train, and also that green train just moved out of nowhere. Hey, it's those old trains. Train on the northern rail, a green train left out of Pinewood all the way to Cargo ship to the yard, as this train was a boxes of up top metal. And this train gonna be a fast little ride, but it's gonna be a little delay on this line. Cause this delay is gonna be serious for a crash. Another freight train was two freight trains behind the first train that we are on, heading down the tracks. You kidding me right now? The train has on the switch 90 miles an hour. It tried to slow down, but the train wasn't slowing down. The train began to run away, and they couldn't stop for the disasters. This disaster strike will be a disaster. Is this more than there are more than a lot of cars behind me. Train was a runaway. Notice the train horns was approaching to the station, and it was okay. Why is that train just going fast towards me? How fast is that train? I'm gonna go check. I don't even know how fast. Oh, 80 miles per hour. Okay. I thought it was gonna crash into me. The subway train was chasing the runaway, but the runaway was gonna crash towards where another station, way too fast, and about to crash. But the subway train just disappeared. And then a disaster was about to happen, and then disaster strikes. The Northeast Rail train crashes off the rails. What the heck is this train doing to me? The freight train, the cars flipped over, making train explosions and disasters. And now, I'm really embarrassed. On the early nights, on a Calafa station, Amtrak train number 4545 left out of the station at night with 164 passengers on board the train. This night shift of 4545 passes the red signal and doesn't stop. Hey, there's that same train that I just saw when it was a runaway. Amtrak train number 4545, and that's the same train. Hey, yo, where I keep getting these same trains from? 4545 as an Amrail train on this December the 25th, 1956. That the rail train heads down the tracks at 90 miles per hour and passes the speed limit of 65.
Why do you have this? It's yours. I know it's mine.
But passes the non-arrest signal. But then they don't notice the workers was fixing the switch. And they see the train not slowing down. It was going 105 miles per hour. But it slammed the brakes hard for their life. Yes. Train number 4545 smacked it off the rails, making the cars coming off the rails. People started screaming, and the train started stopping, and the power just cut off. 2 cars, and 3 cars, and 4 cars came off the rails. 101 passengers was very dead and 31 survived, and the others was injured after the packed train down the bottom right here was very packed with a lot of passengers, and it jammed the brakes, making Amtrak train number 4545 slams hard enough, but didn't stop for their dead life. People started screaming, calling 911, and the 4th car was very damaged. And both of these cars down here was very damaged to the brakes, making a huge explosion right about the station. And the coffee, making people burn, and screaming into the train. People started using their flashlights for the phone, seeing smoke. At the station, they saw the train right there. The people surprised started screaming and running away, but they called 911. The two conductors was very injured, but one was very hurt, and a broken wrist and a broken bone. Every time I say that, it freaking makes me making weird faces. At the AM coach was very power to the train, makes the lights cut off, and makes the AM coffee falls over after the food service car just almost flipped, like the two cars just flipped off. It's the switch, and it's jumped when the switch just replied, and the workers ran away to don't get her from the train and called 911. Ambulance and firefighters came, and police. At the bridge, people in their cars saw the whole horrifying train. They saw the train was crossing the bridge, and now hear a huge explosion, and hear a lot of people scream for their death. On the fifth car, passengers survived, but the fifth car was a little tiny smacked, almost towards the wall. The train was very abandoned now, into the woods, and very abandoned. People checked it out, recording it, and saw it from the 1956 crash. They saw the seats was removed, and the doors was very out, but it was coming. It was down. It was going the other way. They saw the wheels, and they noticed the wheels of the train from 1956. Noticed the brakes was very icing after it was snowing. And one of the workers saw it and tells them, why could this happen? It was ice on the brakes, making the train wouldn't slam the brakes hard, and making rail train number 45 coming derail as a derailment at Frontier Station with pack of passengers waiting for the train at night. A horrifying of trains was very delaying at night until this rail train just smashes off the rails, making fourth, third, and second. No. Fourth, third. Wait. Making fourth and 3 and 2 and 1 cars coming up the rails, and it was too little late to slam the brakes hard. And you notice the two red signals down there, all the way down there, toward the station where they left off on the express. But the train was local. We can all stop. Now the express will be not running until 1957, next year. The Amtrak train was very neat to get a little, like a repair with the 3 and the 4th and 5th cars, but the engine car will not get repaired because it's very damaged and it's very damaged. All people saw it at the abandoned forest right by the city, like 5 miles away from. And they saw abandoned tracks was very old, from 1956 and the 18th. It saw the engine and the three. No, they saw the 2 and the 1 cars. Only left them on there. And these 3 cars is getting repaired and getting back on service with the other cars that they gotta be repaired after 1955 derailment. 1955 derailment on the coast of the 3 blue car trains as Conrail train and the Elmrail train had crashed. Was leaving out in North Philadelphia. I don't know what station it was. That had just happened. And now in 1956, another derailment with the switch. Again, in 1956 of December the 25th. It was a disaster of the snow. Was pretty disaster. After that moment, the saddest, the family was on the train and the dad was at work, saw the news, and he was very surprised and crying. The kid survived after holding on, and he was bleeding in his skin. And I don't even want to say it, but his skin was like burning because of the coffee on the coffee. And they were getting coffee in the car. No, not in the freaking car, but the coach. But that disaster was crazy. After that disaster, on December the 27th, the FBI cased the cause of the Elmrail train crash. Disaster. After that whole disaster, people realized how the saddest line on the coast of Elmrail train number 5454 this train became a 54 because of the other train. The other trains becomes like 20 or anything. And I'm gonna show you guys the Conrail train in 1955, right? It has to be 1955. I'm about to show you guys. Just wait until I find it. So, there's another one that just happened in 1955. Conrail crashed. Let's see. Yeah, it's a Conrail crashed. A derailment in 1955 of October the 12th. That's a freight train. Oh, that was in 1987. A Maryland train crash. It was like that was like in 70 years. What is this? So I found another one that says a Maryland one that was made in 1 month ago that was says 35 years, and you guys gotta hear this whole story.
You're counting down the seconds until you get.
Sorry guys, it was a freaking ad. No! Okay. I'm about to show you guys me. Okay, right here. So this is what happened to the Conrail. Hey, that's just the other train. You guys get to see a lot of trains, okay? This is stupid ads. I'm about to turn this. I turned the speaker off, so this is the ad. And this is the Conrail Warning, warning, warning. Everything says warning, but that's what they say because kids can do it. And wait. 1987. This is a car rail train that had crashed in 1987.
A devastating collision between two trains occurred.
Yeah, two trains. That just happened in 1987. It's like the whole train is freaking messed up in pieces.
Small town of Chase, Maryland, on Amtrak's Northeast Corridor.
Yeah, that's what.
Residents of the small Baltimore suburb were always accustomed.
That's
to
the train, guys.
Flying by.
Guys, that's the train I was talking about, and we was driving it.
Over 100 miles an hour, but none of them could ever imagine such a tragedy would occur here in their own backyards. The Northeast Corridor, built by the Pennsylvania Railroad.
See, that's why they make this, because look, those are the trains that was built, and that's why they came here.
Currently owned by Amtrak, is known to be one of the busiest main lines in the
And this other train that calls the IV,
Amtrak
right?
trains fly up and down from
IIV,
city to
right? I don't
city
even
at
know.
speeds of 125 miles an hour. However, the Amtrak train is traveling between
I trying to find a
Amtrak and Amtrak's history.
Now this is what happened too. It was like 35 years later.
Of January 4th, 1987.
1987. What did? Wait, guys. This is another one, right? I hope this is not another one. Cause it just saw. It was just no. The other video was the same one like this. Had two cars.
Amtrak train 94, the Colonial, was traveling north.
Oh, it was 94. Okay.
Union Station to Boston South Station. The train consists of two.
Look at that old train, guys. That's so. Wait. Let me look at the. Yeah. That's the same train. Exact the same thing.
Two relatively new Electromotive Division AEM-7 locomotives lead. Both were built in 1979.
It was built in 1979.
Miles an hour and were built to replace the aging former Pennsylvania Railroad.
Watch this video until the end, guys. I don't even know.
Since 1930. Two of them being snack bar cars.
Snack?
There was also an older heritage coach, second to last in the consist, number 7624. A crew of 5 and 660 passengers were on board the train, mostly families returning home from the holidays or students ready for the second semester in school. 35-year-old Jerome Evans was...
Sorry, guys. I have to pause. Again. Okay. Sorry, guys, for another one. Okay. It was paused the whole entire time, so let's watch the video.
Engineer that day. The train departs Union Station at 12:30 p.m. Meanwhile,
woo! There's the 5045 again that I wasn't talking about, but it has 3 cars. It had no freight train cars.
Just east of Baltimore, Conrail ENS 121 was preparing to leave light with just
But how?
cars.
But how is 5045? He's not even saying it.
Nola Yard in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The locomotives were 3 rather new General Electric B36-7 diesels delivered to Conrail in 1983, with 5044 in the lead, 5052 in the middle, and 5045 in the rear.
How did you say that?
32-year-old Ricky Lynn Gates was the engineer, and 33-year-old Edward Butch Cromwell was the brakeman. The train leaves Bayview Yard at 1:16 p.m.
So the train had stopped in the middle? Nope. Dude, it was, but it stopped.
Aspect, warning the crew to slow down to 15 miles an hour and be prepared to stop. But again, they didn't slow down. An alerter whistle should have sounded warning the crew about this, but someone had muted it with a piece of adhesive tape. Brakeman Cromwell was also supposed to call out the signals if Gates missed them, but he didn't.
That's why the disaster happened.
Finally, the engineer notices the final signal, 1 north, which showed a stop aspect, and Gates set the brakes to emergency stop. But because of their speed, they overshot the signal, and the 3 engines forced their way through the switch and slipped onto the main line onto track 2. The same track Amtrak 94 was flying down.
Oh goodness, this is way dumb. She didn't even do that. Now they're gonna get hit by a train. Look how fast this thing going. Look at that.
Traveling at over 125 miles an hour and spots the Conrail locomotive
There it is.
sitting in his path. He immediately hits the emergency brakes.
And then
But it was already too packed.
that's how this train sounds. Look, I'm about to show you guys how sound is this one gonna make. So how sounds that one? It's the same thing, almost that one. So let's hear this disaster. Big screen. Now let's see.
He immediately hits the emergency brakes, but it was already too late.
Ah, not this ad again, no. Guys, y'all saw that disaster? That's the same thing as, it's the same thing as that one. Oh. Dang, look at it. Yo. I won't be not on that train to survive. Dang. It's like almost right about the street. If I be walking, I start seeing like 3 trains on the same track. No, 2 trains on the same track. Look, see? It could go that way. But that train just appeared out of nowhere, and that's the bridge, right? I don't even know.
The force of the impact causes the rear Conrail locomotive 5045 to explode when the kinetic energy passed clean through the empty cab and into the prime mover, knocking it off its mounting and imploding it, like throwing a hammer into a CRT TV screen.
Ooh, that
The
hurts.
explosion destroys...
Holy smokes. It's like the same day as the Amtrak train 601 that had crashed off the rails on 2005, right? It has
the
to
front
be.
cab of AEM7 903 and tosses the remains and the rear cab to the west side of the tracks, instantly killing the engineer.
It's really, the music is very sad, and I'm really thinking about it, what happened.
Jerome Evans. It's been said his decapitated head was found several feet from the impact site. The middle engine, 5052, suffered severe cap and nose damage, but the frame was mostly intact. 5044 suffered little damage, but rolled several feet down the line from the impact before coming to a stop. The second Amtrak engine, 900...
That's the train. That's why I think that was the other one. Because it was right there and it was full camera.
...was crushed by the Amfleet cars that zigzagged and piled up on top of it. Experts said the force of the collision was like 300 tons of TNT going off, enough to destroy a city block. 911 calls flooded the emergency dispatch centers, at first reporting an explosion, but later reporting the actual train derailment. Most first responders feared the worst, and as it turned out, their fears were justified. Locals living nearby came to help the injured, with many of them aimlessly wandering like zombies, begging for help with severe injuries. Inside the mangled cars, luggage had fallen all around the victims.
Oh, this is crazy.
Crushing people, And even worse, inside the snack bar cars, the microwaves had flown from the snack bars and wedged themselves into the walkways, jamming exits.
Ha!
There was a big jolt.
That was the generator for 1987, and someone's talking right there, bro.
Next thing we know, we're just tumbling all over the place, baggage was falling.
It was just people flying all over the place. Just a mess. Total mess.
This is very old.
There's people like yelling, like help me, like that. So I, ran up to the train.
Can you guys start getting close to it? Because that makes me like back up because it's like too close if it's going to move again.
Crawled through the window. That's when I seen Jim Howard and Catherine Howard. He was, because he must have hit his face against the seat and his eye was all swelled and everything.
Oh! Damn! Yo! Oh my gosh, that's the driver. His eyes and his face. Oh, I really don't want to look at it.
Yeah, and she was pretty bad. She couldn't get
Look at her.
walk at all or anything like that. So we grabbed her and we handed her out the window.
Why the train? Yo, I really want to see inside the train. Look at that.
So we helped him out the window. See, everybody says don't move people to the accident, but then that diesel fuel and the fire and everything, you don't know if it's going to blow up or not or anything. So you don't think about it. You just
That's why I don't want to get close to it because it's probably going to explode or...
let's get the people off the train.
Within minutes, rescuers specially trained for on-site medical care raced to the scene.
That's a lot of
quickly
ambulance
overwhelmed
and
by the chaos
firefighters,
and
Kim.
destruction. Passengers begged to the rescuers for their lives, desperate to escape. But unfortunately for rescuers, most of their tools, such as the jaws of life used in automobile accidents, were simply useless against the mangled train cars.
Whew.
They used ladders, airbags, and ropes to help the victims the best they could and transfer equipment left and right. Some rescuers saw people take their last breaths right in front of them.
It was too late, guys. Really too late. And this is sad.
Rescuers worked all afternoon into midnight the next day until the last victims were finally freed. A total of 16 people lost their lives, and
Oh,
170 were injured, including the Conrail brakeman Edward Cromwell, who suffered a broken leg.
Ah!
The engineer-
Can you stop saying that? Really, it's gonna make me do faces.
The wreckage, the people, the injured.
Making me saying different phrases, saying ah, like that.
Some dazed and in shock. There were many more injured.
Like that dude was crying. It's probably cold out there, or in summertime.
They were just overwhelmed.
Come on, bro. You serious?
And what they found.
Oh, there's the train. The back of the train is off the rails, so look at the tracks. They are all need to get repaired after that day. Well, let's still watch it.
Was both shocking and infuriating. Blood and urine tests showed that Gates.
Okay, no, we're not. I'm not showing you guys that. No. Don't keep showing me that. It's appropriate. Guys, just close your eyes, cause you guys don't want to see that. Don't do it in real life, okay? Don't do it. I'm serious. Don't look at it. Don't look at it, okay?
In terms of missing the warning lights, missing the pre-alerts, do you think marijuana had any effect on you?
No.
People tend to think marijuana has little to no effect on people, as the foreman at Bayview Yard that day stated he didn't notice anything off about Gates and Cromwell. However, it can alter one's sense of time and impair the ability to perform tasks that require concentration, hence why Gates missed several signals warning him not to switch to another set of tracks. Marijuana also produces very little visual signs compared to people who drink alcohol, as an example, so it's often hard to tell if somebody abuses marijuana or not. Gates even claimed he had a medium approach signal, which would indicate he'd have to slow down to about 30 miles an hour and cross over a set of tracks, but tests of the signals indicated that couldn't be true. It was also revealed not only were the Conrail crew speeding, but the Amtrak train was too. The speed limit for freight trains at gun
Hey, there's the train!
was about 50
Oh,
miles
that's
an hour,
5012.
and passenger trains at 110 miles an hour. A speed restriction that was in effect at the time of the accident limited passenger trains to 105 miles an hour as well. Conrail ENS 121 was going 60 miles an hour before its emergency brake application, and Amtrak 94 was going 125 miles an hour. However, even if the Amtrak train was not speeding, going at either 105 or 110 miles an hour, it would have made very little difference and would still have no hope of stopping in time when Jerome spotted the Conrail units. Toxicology tests also came back negative in Jerome's body. It was also discovered that the Conrail crew did
Hey, the back of the train survived. They could go to the back.
And as a result, several errors were found in the lead locomotive 5044. The Pennsylvania Railroad style cab.
Woo, look inside the train. I can even look inside. I really want to look in the whole entire thing.
Signals had the approach bulb missing, and the little whistle that would alert the crew that they had passed a signal other than clear was silenced with adhesive tape.
Biggest single, I guess, technical problem would have been the whistle being taped there.
The alert whistle taped over.
Right.
Gates claimed he didn't know where it was, and he also said he didn't mute the whistle himself.
That particular day, I was looking to cut corners. I didn't know where the whistle was located in that particular engine.
However, whether that was true or not, it was his job to not only look for it, but to also remedy it and the other issues. To make matters worse, the radio in 5044 was non-functional, so they had to borrow the radio from 5045 and put it in 5044. But the crew stated they had a lot of difficulty hooking it up, so it was mostly non-functional. Interestingly, this same issue was also present in the Amtrak engine.
And there's the train right there that crashed in like a lot of years ago. And that one right there was the worst one. And that's why it became in 2020, and now in 2020, or 20,000, I don't even know. They probably built that one into rad and new cars for SEPTA.
Engines. His 903 did not have an operable radio in either end, so the Amtrak crews borrowed one from 900. If that wasn't enough, Gates also apparently had quite the bad driving record, receiving a DUI and other traffic violations sometime before the accident.
Conrail!
As a result of the NTSB's findings, Conrail immediately suspended both Gates and Cromwell, but both resigned instead of facing certain termination of employment. Gates was later charged with manslaughter by locomotive, and after pleading guilty, he was sentenced to 100 years in prison. The high sentence was mainly for lying to federal investigators, but he instead served 5 years in a Maryland prison.
Because I was the engineer of the Conrail engine 5044, I am ultimately responsible not only for my own negligence, but also...
Well, guys, whew, I can't even freaking believe that part.